He is the greatest living director in Hollywood. 83 years old and still on set. Still obsessing over every frame. Still demanding the kind of truth from his actors that most directors stopped asking for decades ago. Martin Scorsese has made legends. He has made careers. He has pulled performances out of people that those people did not know existed inside them. But for every Robert De Niro, every Leonardo DiCaprio, every Daniel Day-Lewis, there were others. Names that came close and collided. Collaborations that fell apart behind closed doors. Clashes so significant that Scorsese never called them back. And now, finally, the full picture is coming into the light. Tom Cruise. It was 1986. The Color of Money. Cruise was 24 years old and at the peak of his charm, polished, precise, obsessively prepared. Scorsese wanted the opposite. He wanted mess. He wanted a young man coming apart at the seams, not a star managing his image frame by frame. Cruise had spent weeks learning real pool technique and kept pushing for wide shots that showcased his skill. Scorsese was not interested in skill. He was interested in decay. The two men were speaking completely different languages, one building a brand, the other trying to break one. Scorsese never called him again. Winona Ryder. The Age of Innocence. 1993, Ryder was cast as May Welland, the quiet, calculating bride who controls everything through stillness. Scorsese needed cold. He needed a woman who hid everything behind perfect manners. Ryder kept reaching for the character's pain, her vulnerability, the human being underneath the social armor. 6 hours of reshoots on a single scene. Red eyes between takes. A director whispering the same instruction over and over while an actress kept bringing something he did not want. The film was brilliant. Her performance earned an Oscar nomination. And Scorsese never worked with her again. Jim Carrey. Nobody talks about this one. In the late 1990s, Carrey was desperate to be taken seriously. He had done The Truman Show. He had done Man on the Moon. He wanted The Aviator, Howard Hughes, The Descent into Madness, the role that would prove everything. For a brief moment it seemed possible. And then the meetings began. Carrey came in with energy, ideas, wild enthusiasm for a character that Scorsese wanted played in near silence. Fragile. Haunted. Disappearing. Carrey could do intense. He could not do invisible. The role eventually went to Leonardo DiCaprio. The rest is history. Julia Roberts. She was considered for Countess Ellen Olenska in The Age of Innocence. On paper it made sense. In practice it became one of the most talked about near misses in Hollywood history. Scorsese asked her to wear a tightly laced corset, not as a costume choice but as a tool. A way of understanding how it felt to be a woman physically restrained by society's rules. Roberts pushed back. She believed in emotional truth, not physical suffering. She had too much modern fire, too much of the present moment living in her face. Scorsese needed someone who could disappear into 1870. Roberts could never quite make that disappear. She stepped away. Michelle Pfeiffer got the call. Ryan O'Neal. Raging Bull. Before De Niro made Jake LaMotta immortal, Ryan O'Neal sat across from Scorsese and suggested softening him. Making him more sympathetic. Giving audiences a reason to care. Scorsese looked at him and understood immediately that this was never going to work. LaMotta was not supposed to be understood. He was supposed to be exposed. O'Neal came from the old Hollywood school where stars needed saving. Scorsese came from the new one where characters needed truth. They were never going to meet in the middle. O'Neal was quietly removed. De Niro came in, gained 60 pounds, destroyed his body, won the Oscar, and created one of the greatest performances in cinema history. 5 collisions. 5 moments where the most demanding director in Hollywood looked across a table and made a decision that was never reversed. Not because these actors were not talented. Most of them were extraordinary. But Scorsese's films do not need talent. They need surrender. And some people, no matter how famous, no matter how prepared, simply cannot let go of themselves enough to give him what he is looking for. And that, more than any review, any award, any box office number, is what separates the ones who worked with Scorsese once from the ones who kept coming back.